a slightly different light where personal and professional life meet. I'll go ahead and share my screen. And looks like I can't turn my video back on.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. If you have your screen share up sometimes.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll get started. So I will be starting out by bringing you guys along on my journey and really the discovery of my strengths and values, which I've identified to be as my leadership skills. And that, these are what have allowed me to run a successful statewide program. So my story then rolls into my work as the BuyAlaska program manager. And I'm really excited to share more about this program with you and talk about some of the strides that we've been making for small Alaska businesses, and also some of the ways that all of you guys on the call can get involved. So my leadership story really starts from the beginning. I grew up in Tampa, Florida, and I spent my youth out on the boat with my family, taking vacations mostly in the Caribbean. And early on, I grew a really strong appreciation for the environment. So I also went to a private school growing up, and my junior year, I enrolled in AP Environmental Science. And to many at school, this was a bird course. For some others that were looking to kind of push the boundaries for more demanding courses. But for one of the first times, I really felt inspired and empowered by what I was learning. And my eyes were really open to Earth systems and the importance of preserving and protecting them. And so with this newfound passion, I was really given a direction and a purpose, which is to make a difference. And having this direction has really helped me set out on my leadership journey. So when I was in the final years of high school, my dad, who is Canadian, came to the realization that as a dual citizen of Canada, I would be able to attend a Canadian university for just a fraction of the cost of going to an out-of-state school in the US. And so although I had never really envisioned myself moving across the continent to another country at the young age of 18, I soon enough found myself making a solo trip across the continent and out of the country to go to school in Canada. And I spent the next 4 years in British Columbia learning about Earth systems in the classroom that was the 90-hectare Pacific Spirit Park around UBC. And really consuming all that Whistler Blackcomb ski area had to provide, which was a lot. And so here is where I really discovered my passion for adventure. And I really believe that embracing adventure has helped me to step into my leadership style, because pursuing an adventure often means that you are working hard for something in an environment that might be foreign to you. And I would say that it's really easy to make the argument that most leaders are on an adventure and really may never get off of it. So fast forward to the year 2013, after I graduated, my partner of 2 years at this point, who I had met at UBC and who was pursuing professional guiding as a career, asked me if I wanted to move to Japan and work with him over the winter. And for me, it wasn't hard to say yes. And at the time, I had my sights set on fieldwork and environmental studies, but I accepted a job running the office of the guiding company that he was going to be working for. And again, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, but I did know that it was going to be a great adventure. And what I didn't expect was that this demanding administrative role that had a lot of moving parts, I found my aptitude for problem solving and designing efficient systems. And I was frankly inspired by being really good at something. And I would go on to act as office manager there for 3 winter seasons. And I also knew that I would pursue this in other contexts. So in the summers between Japanese winters, I came to Alaska with my partner, who is a born and raised Inuit, and I was given some opportunity in my field. I worked for the Southeast Alaska Land Trust doing a conservation easement and here you'll see I was doing a conservation easement inspection, which looks really rough, I know. And I also worked as fish and wildlife technician for the Alaska Department of Fish and Game. And with my foot in the door, I finally felt ambition rise in me, and I knew that I could achieve anything that I worked for. So, with ambition often can come the realization that you might not know everything that you should or could. And when I felt the pull towards furthering my education and reaching my potential, I found myself realizing that a standard graduate education maybe wasn't actually the right fit for me. And I took a chance, and against the advice of many, to go to a big name MBA school. I chose to go to a boutique graduate school that specialized in sustainability and business and integrating those two. And it also integrated personal development throughout the curriculum. So this program really completely changed my frame of thinking. Not only did I gain skills in business management, but it also allowed me to recognize that by taking a strengths-based leadership approach and a mindset on continuous improvement, I was capable of anything. And this program also really allowed me to hone in my strengths in systems thinking. I've come to understand that it's really necessary to take a step back and look at a greater system at play in order to make and sustain a change. And this is a really invaluable skill that has helped me in my current role. So not long after graduation, I landed a job as Allen Marine's Sustainability Coordinator, and this was in February of 2020. So fresh-faced and ready to take on the world, I began my work coming up with a sustainability plan for Allen Marine. And very soon after that, obviously the COVID-19 pandemic became very real in Alaska, and I found myself furloughed and uncertain about my future. And although I had lost my dream job at the time due to the pandemic, I found a value after moving back to Alaska that I had been searching for all along, which is community. And throughout my adventures and experiences, I've made incredible friendships that have shaped who I am. But I've also always felt like I was really missing something at a bigger level. And Alaskans have a very special way of creating community. So when I moved back to Alaska for good, I finally found this last piece of the puzzle. And so in May of 2020, I landed my position as BuyAlaska Program Manager. And I feel so fortunate now to have the opportunity to give back to a community that has embraced me. And so my story continues with the BuyAlaska program. And I'd like to start with a little bit of context. BuyAlaska is a program under the Alaska Small Business Development Center. And many of you are likely familiar with what the SBDC services do. But for those that aren't, the SBDC is a really amazing resource that is available to all Alaska businesses. They provide free business advising for a business at any phase of their business life cycle. And they make tools and resources available for small businesses. And then they also have workshops and training webinars available. Many are available for free, and actually all of them are free until September. So highly recommend anybody that's interested on the call to check those out. So a quick history about BuyAlaska. The SBDC founded BuyAlaska back in 1991 as an import replacement program. And they had provided direct assistance in procurements for government and businesses. In 2007, it was redesigned to be a website hosting platform. This was during the dot-com boom when it was really expensive to host a website at the time, and they were fitting a need there. And then after being dormant for several years, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, and with the understanding that there was a critical need to support small businesses through this economic crisis, the SBDC decided to relaunch BuyAlaska and really completely start from scratch back in May of 2020. And that is when I came on board. So we had started with just a handful of organizations that you see here. And Alaska Communications was one of our star stakeholders since the beginning. We came together initially to discuss what this program should look like and what we are going to do to help small businesses in this time of crisis, but also how to create a program that would help grow the Alaska economy and foster the types of communities that we wanted to live in. So we have now grown to over 40 partnered organizations involved in the BuyAlaska program. And each of these organizations believes that small businesses in Alaska are worth fighting for. And I work to bring the power of these organizations together and leverage our partnerships for small businesses in Alaska. And I have been so pleasantly surprised to see that an unintended result of these partnerships has also created a way for these statewide organizations to come together and work together. And that's a really fun part of what I do. So as you can see, we are quite the powerhouse, and we are all aligned under one shared goal for this program. And that is for consumers to shop from Alaskan-owned businesses first, to think local first before turning to national retailers, for consumers to make the decision to support small and discover what's available in our great state. And so for our purposes, we have defined Alaskan-owned as local. And this includes small businesses and also franchises. But why are we doing this? And why is this program goal so important? So this past year, the UA Center for Economic Development conducted a study for us on what a shift to local spending in Alaska actually looks like. And the state's supply chain, business revenue distribution, and the economic impact on local jobs and wages were all assessed. Their findings were that in Alaska, with non-local businesses, we're seeing an estimated 22% of revenue stay in the state. And then compared to local businesses, we're seeing 63% of business revenue staying in state and circulating within Alaska. So in other words, a dollar spent at a local business has almost 3 times the impact of a dollar spent at a non-local business. And we are seeing that this is because Alaskan-owned businesses are more likely to use local supply chains and utilize other local businesses as suppliers and service providers. Local businesses also have a more vested interest in the well-being of the community, and they're more likely to give to Alaskan charitable donations. And this helps to support our state's network of nonprofits and service organizations. And so choosing local means supporting not just an Alaska business owner, but a compounding system of Alaska businesses and people. And that's a huge reason why we're doing this program. So it is our mission to amplify Alaska businesses through connection, awareness, and access to resources. And we want to show consumers what is available and why it's important to look local first for these items before turning to national retailers. And I'd like to walk you through a little bit more of what BuyAlaska is doing to achieve this mission and ultimately to reach our vision of an economically strong, resilient Alaska. So social media is a really powerful tool, and we try and use it to connect consumers to Alaska businesses and to create conversations that spark interest and build pride for small businesses. And Heather Rhodes, I didn't see if you made it on the call, but Heather has been such an invaluable asset to the social media team, and I really can't express enough how much her contributions on behalf of Alaska Communications over the last year has helped to further the BuyAlaska program. So Heather, you rock, and thank you so much for what you do. And we also use campaigns to get the public involved and inspired to think local first. We've done campaigns on Alaska manufacturing industries. We did one in April that was 30 days to support local, 30 ways over 30 days to support local. And then this month, we are highlighting Alaska grown and made in Alaska ingredients with a recipe campaign. And so all of these are designed to inspire and remind folks that a shift to local spending is easy and it's something that they can do. And so the last part of our mission statement is to give access to resources. And we work to give businesses the tools that they need to connect with customers. And then also to help take the sting off the cost of doing business. And to that, we've had some discount programs available with FedEx, QuickBooks Online, Constant Contact. And then we've also created a space for our members to offer discounts to other members. And we're calling that the BuyAlaska Discount Club. And so one of the most notable initiatives of our program is the BuyAlaska Business Directory. And I hope many of you have gotten on the site and checked out the businesses that we have listed on there. This is a free opportunity for businesses to connect customers and for Alaskan-owned businesses to connect with other businesses and to find each other. And since this last year, we just launched the directory in January. We have almost 570 businesses that have joined with us as a member and created a listing for their business. And you can see what that looks like here. So yeah, it's really cool to see all of those dots across the state and just explore what's out there and just discover different things, different businesses that you didn't know existed. And so with this directory, we've made it possible for consumers to search anything, to filter by location, if the business has shipping available, if they have made in Alaska or Alaska grown certifications. Businesses are searchable across the state by category. And then we've also made it easier to find minority owned businesses as well. And so the goal of the directory is to connect Alaskans with products and services that are available in the state, to give visibility to small Alaska businesses, and also to give potential visitors an opportunity to explore what's locally owned. And as I mentioned, we're also hoping to create opportunities for more business to business collaboration. So, with this mission statement to guide the BuyAlaska program, ultimately, it's our vision to build economic resilience to Alaska as we emerge stronger together. And so, we are seeing that a $20 shift in spending per household supports jobs for Alaskans, and we're seeing overall an estimated 6,000 additional jobs that could be supported. And this small shift also creates an additional 215 million in potential wages, and that is a lot more money that's going into the pockets of Alaskans. And then overall, because of the ripple effect that I was mentioning earlier of spending at local businesses, this results in an added value of 308 million to Alaska's GDP. And so, what can you do? Well, the number one thing that you can do is to think local first yourselves. And it all starts with a decision to try. So, we are asking consumers to make that conscious effort to simply shift spending. And something else that you can do is join as a member of BuyAlaska, and membership is free. We keep you updated with our ongoing initiatives in our monthly newsletter. And as I mentioned, there's other perks as well. If you are a business owner on the call, definitely list your business on the directory. Help gain visibility for your business and also help us catalog all of the amazing Alaskan-owned businesses that are out there. Follow us on social media and please get in on the conversation and help us get our message in front of as many people as we can by liking and sharing our posts. And then within your own organizations and circles, steer efforts to support small businesses in your community and help create opportunities for consumers to choose local. And I know many of you on the call are already doing this, and so keep up the good work. And finally, let us know how we can partner with you and help leverage resources in your community and work together under this shared goal. And so that is a little bit about BuyAlaska and about myself. And I just, I'm happy to open it up to any questions about the program or about my past experiences.
Yeah, I'll just kick it off and then I'll turn it over to anyone on the call. The question, one of my first questions that came to mind is, do you guys expect the BuyAlaska program to remain active? Or, because it had gone dormant 2 other times, but this time it's a little different, and especially with, I would expect, a continued focus on local spending with all, Amazon available and et cetera, et cetera.
Most definitely. Yeah. It's the program is really in its infancy, and it's pretty awesome to see how far it's come in just the short amount of time that we've been live. And we definitely are planning on keeping this program going. And it's something that I think we've structured as a resource for businesses, kind of no matter the involvement. And of course, we're hoping that it grows no matter what. But who knows what the future can tell. But regardless of kind of the resources available to us or folks working on the program, the directory and the visibility that we've created through this program is something that's going to last on for kind of no matter the number of folks working on it or how many dollars we have behind us, which is something really cool and yeah, something that I anticipate lasting a very long time.
Perfect. All right, who else has a question or comment? All right, I'll kick it off with another one. This is, and I don't recall who I was chatting with. This was last year or something. And they were talking about how, for example, if you go into a Fred Meyer and you try to find AK grown vegetables from, farmers out in Palmer, they're kind of spread out all throughout the produce section as opposed to just having one dedicated section. What type of level of involvement are you in those types of things, working with stores to, hey, just group it all together and people can then just focus their efforts on buying local?
Yeah, that type of kind of work in the procurement realm is something that we're just kind of starting to scratch the surface of, and something that's definitely hoping to grow with this program, because I think that it would be really wonderful to work on more of that more of that upper level where we're kind of entering like almost that government level of just helping pull those resources together and working with some of the bigger stores that are out there. We encourage folks to shop from Alaskan-owned businesses first, and obviously that is not available to many folks in Alaska, where the Freds or the Costco. It's just it's a part of life, and I completely understand that. And I think that we're just trying to ask folks to just try and shop from those businesses where you can acquire what you need, because we are seeing such a dramatic difference in the amount of money that stays in Alaska. And that goes for the Fred Meyers too. Like that, the money leaves the state pretty quickly, and it's definitely benefiting the businesses that folks are shopping from. But if we can keep that money in the state, then it goes a lot farther, and it really goes a long way in our economic impact. And so, yeah, definitely not telling folks not to shop at Fred's or whatever it may be, but definitely encouraging just going to those locally owned stores first, even if they are selling those Alaskan grown products at the Freds. The dollar is going to go a lot further at a locally owned store. So that's kind of the overarching message. But yeah, I think as far as working with the non-locally owned stores, that's definitely a long-term goal that I see a lot of opportunity in, and yeah, something that I hope that we can leverage as we move forward.
Have you seen any upticks yet? I know it's very recent with local events starting this June, like First Friday just kicked off again here in Anchorage and stuff like that, or is it too soon to tell?
Well, I mean, gosh, it's hard to say. I think that a lot of folks are still, getting out and about. I know in Juneau, we've seen a lot more people going out and about, and yeah, I think that I think it is growing, and I think that also the pandemic really opened up a new avenue of the online shopping component, and I think the businesses are realizing the opportunity to reach outside of the community, and so that is one of the things that we really hope to do, is help facilitate getting their products and services as well being purchased all over the state. And so we're hoping to act as that connector. And I think that the directory is going to be a really great resource for that. And I'd also just like to mention another program that we're working on right now, which is in partnership with an online marketplace exclusively for Alaska businesses called voyage.com. And we are partnered up with them on a program called Shop Local Alaska. And so this is help fitting a need that our program can't necessarily take on its own. So again, we're seeing the benefit of the leveraging our partners here. But Shop Local Alaska is a space for Alaska businesses to sell their products online. And so we're really hoping that this becomes a resource for people that may not necessarily, be comfortable going out yet, or, they just live out of the community. And so, yeah, Shop Local Alaska is something that we're really seeing as being a benefit for Alaska businesses to get more visibility, and then to get more awareness from other Alaskans about all of these awesome businesses that exist, and that because they had been brick and mortar to start, now they do have their products and services online, and these are available to Alaskans, and something that folks should be taking advantage of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned the partners. What is the array of ways that they help BuyAlaska, those 40 partners?
Man, well, I would say that, I'm so fortunate to be in this role, where I'm able to advocate for small businesses, but really where I get the inspiration and the knowledge of how to do this is from our partners. They've got their ear to the ground, and it allows us to really reach to an extended network. And so the knowledge and the resources, and then just the collaboration of ideas, has been such an asset to this program. And I think that there's kind of no limit to the partnerships that we can take on. And so, I mentioned a little bit that it was kind of an unintended result of getting this program together and coming together under a shared goal. But BuyAlaska has really become a hub for these organizations to collaborate and to make connections. And I think that those partnerships are what give us the change to make this program successful, and to make their program successful as well. And so working together has really, really allowed us to take it many, many more steps further than it would be if it was, just myself and the SBDC working on things. So it's been a lot of fun to connect with all the different leaders across the states and come together under this goal. And yeah, like I said, I think that there's really no limit to kind of what we can accomplish together. And I think that speaks kind of more largely to the goal that we're really trying to achieve in the first place, because we're saying that Alaskans working together can achieve anything, and that goes at the community level as well as the state organizational level. And so I think that we're kind of hopefully exemplifying what, by getting together as our organizations, exemplifying what other businesses in Alaska might be able to achieve as well, and something that we're hoping to promote in that business to business collaboration.
Yeah, so I'll pause here if anyone else has questions or comments.
Have you been able to speak with other communities, other states, other organizations to compare, or to get insight, or to get tips and tricks on how they've run these type of programs there to implement it in Alaska?
A little bit. The Juneau Economic Development Council had an innovation summit pretty recently, and that was a really awesome opportunity to connect with some of the speakers that they brought on board, and that have these more established organizations. And I'm definitely hoping to pick their brains more, and kind of working on that. So yeah, I have had a little bit of opportunity, and really hoping, especially now that we have kind of a foundation for this program, hoping that I can spend more time on bringing them in and bringing in their expertise, because there are these types of initiatives in most states and a lot of communities, and even small towns and things have these kind of buy local initiatives, and they're seeing really, really dramatic results that work. These types of campaigns that just get in front of people, getting them thinking in that local mindset, putting the resources and the connections in front of them. It helps to get people in that mindset of thinking local first. And so, that's kind of our number one goal. And yeah, I really hope that I can, as we grow, especially take on some of the other things that these organizations are doing as well. And we are such a young program, and have a small group that kind of work on it. And So I think that we're going to launch even more and get more resources and get more people on board, and hopefully grow to the level that some of these organizations have been able to achieve, and definitely looking at them as examples as we move forward.
Have any of those other programs, I'm sorry, Mary.
Oh, go ahead.
Have any of those other programs looked into or began or done some type of outreach, like into our schools and our educational systems? You know, if we start teaching our young about environmental causes and local early, then we don't necessarily have to teach them about it when they're adults. We don't, you know, we can train them up young. Have any of these programs done outreach like that to get into the community in that way, not just businesses to advertise and to be on social media, but that aspect of it?
That would be a dream, and that's an amazing idea that I'm going to write down. I think that, you know, as far as what other organizations are doing, I couldn't say necessarily. But again, you know, I'm going to kind of revert back to the opportunities that we have with our partnerships. And so with our kind of more established organization now, I think that we do have the opportunity to get involved with the school system, and you know, maybe it's not like a curriculum thing necessarily, but maybe we are able to like have a kind of conference with kids, and I also think that there is opportunity to start sourcing Alaska products for the school system, and I think that that's a big goal for us too moving forward. And so thinking about what those opportunities to benefit Alaska businesses through this procurement process, but also create that component of education, like you say, and lead by example, I think is really an important and easy thing that we can do. And so yeah, really, I think that's a great idea. And yeah, as we grow, I really want to explore that more.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Did you have a question, Marie?
Oh, I just had a thought. Is it just you working on BuyAlaska, or are there other staff?
So kind of comes and goes with the staff, but for the most part, it's me. And then I manage our over 40 partners. And so actually just after this call, I have a stakeholder meeting that we do monthly, and that is our opportunity to share ideas and to talk about the program, to touch base about the metrics, and look at areas where we need to pivot. And so, you know, I'd say that it's just me working on the program, but it's not. There are so many other folks across the state that are involved in this, and that's kind of where my leadership component comes in, where I kind of help to manage that way of moving forward productively, and make sure that I'm also, you know, being respectful of or other organizations' time and resources. But yeah, it's been so amazing to have these organizations willing to give their time to this program. And so I'd answer that. Long story short, I'd say no, I'm not the only person working on the program. We have a pretty wide reach across the state.
Mm-hmm. How do you get your metrics, or how are you able to make the link that, okay, these dollars are spent on local businesses and they equal X more jobs, or a third more revenue into the state? Or how
so that data came from the UA Center for Economic Development, and so yeah, that is some analytics that is out of my capabilities, and that's why I reached out to them to because there are a lot of other there's a lot of other information out there about the impacts of shopping locally, and I kind of, you know, scoured all of the information that I could. And I found that there wasn't necessarily something that was Alaska specific. And I really found like that was a missing link and something that absolutely needed to be explored. And so I was really excited when the Center for Economic Development took that project on for us. And so they worked, as I mentioned, they analyzed a lot of different factors across the state, the wages and lots of different things, and they put all of those into a model. And so they had taken a kind of a specific amount of money, which we quantified to be that $20 per week, which is a really attainable thing for most folks, and then looked at what that $20 per week would translate to. And so, yeah, we got those key numbers, and yeah, we're using those to definitely inspire people, because $20 per week is a pretty easy thing to do when you kind of look at what's possible, and just looking at making that shift of mindset, and going to the grocery store and looking for those Alaska grown products, or going to the Alaska owned store in the first place. And so, yeah, that's really wonderful data that we're super excited to share more widely, and that I feel is important, that is Alaska specific, because we do kind of have our, our own way of doing things, and we have our own specific challenges here in Alaska, that I think that data really needed to speak directly to. And then, so, that's kind of the theoretical data that's based on Alaska specific information. But as far as our program metrics, we, right now we are gauging mostly on engagement. And so we look at a lot of different things, like the website, number of folks that are coming to our website. And we're really using the directory as a metric to see how many people are getting on the directory, exploring the different businesses out there, the time that they're spending on the directory. And so we're measuring the directory use as a solid metric for now. And then, of course, we use social media. As I mentioned, we're trying to use social media as that inspiration, reaching out to consumers, creating those conversations about small businesses. And so definitely looking at our social media metrics. Yeah, and I think that one of the missing pieces for us was the revenue component. And I think, that was kind of what was one of the biggest challenges from us, of us from the start. And our partnership with Voyage.com has helped fill that need, because now that we are working with them on the Shop Local Alaska program, and we're actually able to see that revenue generated as a result of marketing this program. And so, yeah, we're able to track the actual revenues that are going back into Alaska businesses. Excuse me. And yeah, so the Shop Local Alaska program is also really exciting, because not only are we using this as a way for Alaskans to connect with other Alaska businesses, but we are working on some pretty major partnerships with major travel suppliers. And we actually partnered up with Royal Caribbean Group, which is the Royal Caribbean International and Celebrity Cruise Lines, and then also Norwegian Cruise Lines. And we're working with them directly to have them market this program specifically to their guests. And so we've been working on marketing this since March, and we've seen some really great results, because this program's getting in front of millions and millions of people. And so people that maybe have been to Alaska, or they were hoping to come to Alaska, but their trip got canceled, or they are thinking about it and just want to create that, or they're just interested and want to learn a little bit more. This program is getting in front of them and helping to create that connection with Alaska businesses. And I think we're seeing some really, really cool results from this, and things that we didn't necessarily expect, markets that we've tapped into that we kind of didn't even know existed. For instance, we have been working with some of the travel agents who use this Shop Local Alaska program to buy gifts for their clients that are coming to Alaska and want to just make that experience a little bit more special. And so, yeah, we've seen some really cool things coming out of Shop Local Alaska, and our work to partner with some of those larger travel suppliers. And we're really hoping to get a lot more on board too. We're in conversations with some other folks. And so, yeah, that our partnership with Voyage has been really great in the way that we're able to actually provide a way for folks to make that purchase, and then also get that data that we weren't able to originally.
Mm-hmm. What's your guys' vision for the next like 3-5 years? So you've had a pretty busy year one, getting it up and running again. And so what's the vision?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd say that I would really like to expand communications, and just try and get the message in front of more people, getting more people involved, building the directory, and really making that a comprehensive resource and catalog of all the Alaska businesses. My dream is to have every Alaska business listed on this directory and have it be almost like a Google for Alaskan-owned businesses, and make it really easy for people to find what they're looking for by using this resource. So that's definitely a big dream of mine. But like I mentioned, I think that there's a lot of opportunity that exists in partnering with organizations at other levels. Right now we work with really all levels of organizations, from state to local communities to government. And so I really want to continue to work on those partnerships, and start tapping into kind of some of the larger potential for larger impact, like I was talking a little bit about with procurement, and yeah, just like sourcing locally, and making it really what we do in Alaska. We look for local products and services. And then definitely working on some of the bigger partnerships with the travel suppliers. My dream is that these cruise ships are selling Alaska products on their ship. And so I know that that's a big hurdle, and something that we're definitely aware of. But I think that if we're able to work with businesses in a way that we can give them the resources that they need to manufacture at a scale that can be provided at the cruise ships, that it might actually pique interests of these folks that are coming to Alaska and visiting Alaska, and then if they're able to sell Alaska products on board, that would have a huge benefit for Alaska businesses, and something that I'm hoping and working on.
Mm-hmm. I'll pause here for other questions.
Just a quick comment, the website is great. I love the way you've got it set up and it's organized, and it gets your attention and looks like it's set up very easily for business owners and people just coming to Alaska, or even people just moving to Alaska whose real estate agent or someone may have said, hey, here's links to this type of website. But the website looks great, and it looks like there's lots of potential there.
Well, gosh, I really appreciate that. Thank you. And I'll say that we're in a unique position where we are speaking to multiple target audiences out there. I'd say our overarching goal is changing consumer behavior, and so we are definitely speaking with consumers, but there's so much more involved with that. And like I mentioned with our mission statement, we're hoping to provide resources for small businesses as well. And so, putting that on the website and letting businesses know that the resources that we have are available to them. And then also, we are trying to reach outside of the state as well, like I mentioned with the Shop Local Alaska program. And so thinking about what it looks like for tourists to come to the website and get interested in small businesses, and learn all about the cool, amazing things that we have going on in the state. So yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that comment, and I'll say it's a work in progress, but yeah, trying to kind of find that sweet spot where we're talking and making the most impact to all of our different audiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'd like to thank you for your time today. This was quite the overview. Really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come chat with us about this very important initiative. So
Definitely. Yeah. Like I said, I appreciate the opportunity to kind of bring in my personal story,
Yeah.
and how it all fits together. As you guys might have noticed, I've been on, quite the journey, and
Mhm.
so many of my experiences have just led me to where I am now. And, like I mentioned, I just, I've felt so accepted by the Alaska community, and I just am so appreciative to be in a position where I'm able to support, and just help amplify small businesses in this capacity. And not only is it a lot of fun for me, but yeah, the program goal is such an important one, and just so lucky to be able to work on something like this.
Yeah, seems like a great fit. Your passion's obvious.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate everybody's attention, and would definitely encourage everybody to check us out on social media, follow us as we grow. Like I said, get on the directory if you own a small business, and or if you know small business owners, let them know about the BuyAlaska program, and that this is a resource that's here for them, and that we are here advocating for them. And that's really what we're doing with BuyAlaska. It's all about supporting small businesses. So yeah, I definitely appreciate everybody's time, and appreciate you all helping us get the word out about this program and helping us grow. And please reach out to me with any questions. I'm more than happy to chat with anybody after the call, or by email. And
Yeah,
thank you for
perfect.
this opportunity.
I'll share your address with anyone who asks, definitely.
Cool.
Thank you.
That's great.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. You too.